Appalachian Trail. I'm at Spivey Gap, I think. Yep, Spivey Gap. 3,252 feet. Indian Grave Gap. I would like to go there today. We'll see how it goes. I'll definitely go to the Nolichucky River. I'd like to get 19, but it's a little late this morning. It's 10:21, so it's a little late, but I'm going to give it a go. I'm slack packing today, so I should be able to cruise a little faster. And today is dedicated to my buddy Mike. Mike has been walking with me a lot on the Appalachian Trail, but not in physical form because he's not with us anymore. But we miss him, and I'll talk about him more today as the day goes on, because he was a really good guy. He loved hiking. He loved his family, and I got some pictures of him too that I'll include today. And I look forward to hiking with him today. He's actually been hiking with me probably all along. But anyway, we'll give it a go. All right, everybody, I'll touch base with you a little bit more later. Out of here. Hey, everybody. Still a great day. Walking downhill into Irwin. Well, I got a couple miles to go, but I'm in the downhill part of it. So Irwin, Tennessee is one of them places that's kind of like for folks that are walking the Appalachian Trail, like Neal's Gap or NOC or Fontana, Hot Springs. Kind of one of those early on like milestone places. It's about 345 miles into your walk. And so anyway, I'm making my way on down that way. So earlier, I was talking about how this hike, for me, is dedicated to Mike. And Mike is walking with me on this trail because he always wanted to do it. So Mike's sister and I used to be, we worked together in the Navy way back in the day, probably almost 4 decades ago. And she and her husband have been friends of me and my wife for, I don't know, 30 years or almost 30 years or something like that. And so anyway, we had known Mike, and I can't say that I knew Mike exceptionally well because I had only met him a couple of times. But Feather and I, we went to his celebration of life, and it was by far the best that I've ever seen. And it was obvious how much he was loved. And so anyway, while we were there, amongst other things, there was they had laid out pictures and remembrances and different things of all of the things that Mike liked. And Mike was, I'm changing my hand because my arm gave out. He was a man of many talents. And one of those things was he liked hiking. And his hiking stuff was all out on the table. So we talked pretty extensively about that. And I had meant to get a, like one very light little piece of one of his hiking things to carry with me on the trail. But after I gave that a little bit of thought, I didn't think that was really necessary. Why have a little memento when he can just actually walk with you the whole time? So anyway, that's what he's doing. And so anyway, I was texting with the brother-in-law today, and he hit me up and he said he must have just saw my Max Patch thing, and he was like, Mike loved Max Patch, like that. And I was like, well, send me some pictures, man, so I can put some pictures in here and I can talk about Mike a little bit. So I've got a picture of you're probably looking at it right now, of Mike on Max Patch. And Anyway, it's got me smiling. That's some good stuff right there. And Mike's been pretty good to me today. He's done some tweaks on this trail that's made it a little bit easier on these old knees. So that's a really good thing. I wanted to talk about the celebration of life that I went to. Feather and I went to for Mike. In a small way, I don't like doing it because I don't want to leave anybody out. But as I said before, it was such an incredible remembrance of the man that I've got to try to do it a little bit of justice. So Mike, as I said, Mike was a guy of many talents. He was really good at guitar, and he's really good at singing. And I appreciate that a lot, because though I'm not very good at singing and I'm not very good at guitar, I love doing both. And so I know how soothing to the soul that can be, though it may not necessarily be soothing to the ears of those around it. But I've actually heard him, I've heard recordings of him singing. He's actually a really good singer. So anyway, as I said before, I've known his sister and his brother-in-law forever, and I've known his mom. And when his sister and brother-in-law got married, we were all there. That may have been the first time that I'd ever met him. and that one was great, because I just came off of a training exercise and I'd gotten poison ivy all over my face and my head, which was awesome. And so I didn't get to enjoy the reception part as much as everybody else did. I kind of stayed in the room and did a bunch of scratching. But back to Mike. His celebration of life, as I said, it was really incredible, and I can't do it justice. But the folks that came out and the folks that spoke, in the sincerity in which they spoke, in the number of people that spoke, was unlike anything that I'd ever seen in my life before. To tell you he was a special guy is an incredible understatement. And to talk about the good that he did for other people would be an incredible understatement. He changed people's lives, there's no doubt about it. And obviously, I'm proud to have him out here with me, because it's going to be a good little walk. He lived on a farm, and he loved his family. He loved his mom. He loved his girlfriend. He loved his sister and his brother-in-law, and he loved his nephews. And I don't even want to say outside of that ring, but because he loved and was loved by so many that it's probably hard to differentiate, or quantify or make different the amount of caring that he did for other people, which was very evident by the way the folks talked about him that day. He loved animals, there's no doubt about it. He had a pup. His pup was still there, and we saw his pup. And his pup obviously missed him a lot. And he spent some time down at Turtle Island in North Carolina, and the folks down there were also there, and they represented. And they talked about how much of a difference, or how special he was in their lives, and how giving and thoughtful and selfless he was in all of his actions, which was something else. So I'll talk about him more as I go along, and I'll show some more pictures when I get them. But I give you that background just so you can understand how special of a man he was, and how special he was to all of those that were around him. And if there's one little piece I can do, that'll be him accompanying me on my march north, which I'm sure that there'll probably be some cussing involved if there's some hard terrain that I encounter, which I believe that he could have had a little bit to do with sitting from his current position. So anyway, I'll let it go with that for now. And you guys enjoy the rest of the pictures that I have, and any more pictures that I get of Mike, I'll be sure to include them as we make our way north. All right, everybody, have a great day. Here's a great view looking down on Irwin. See the Nolichucky River down there? Feather and I got a piece of land on the Nolichucky River, as well as the French Broad. You can see the town of Irwin. They're off in the distance. I think I'm gonna go down and walk across that bridge. I'll come back up when I get there. Or I'll come up before that if I see anything that's really cool. Great day. All right, out of here.